Some houses never let go. Even when the boxes are packed and the keys are turned in, something lingers. Welcome back to Paranormal Nightshift, where the lines between the living and the lingering blur, and the stories we share are all too real. I'm your host, Andy, and if this is your first time tuning in, buckle up. But if you caught our last episode, you already know the footsteps have started. Tonight we pick up where we left off with Trisha's chilling experience. She and her husband thought they were leaving the past behind when they moved. But what if the past had other plans? Before we step back into the shadows, real quick, grab your free ebook at paranormalnightshift.com. The Birth of Dimensional Desperado is the first step into a supernatural time travel series that'll keep you up at night for all the right reasons. All right, dim the lights, center yourself, and listen closely. Because our new home might not be the fresh start it seemed. When we moved into our new home, we thought we were starting fresh. New keys, new address, new memories to be made. But it didn't take long before we realized that something had followed us. Something that, in my heart, I truly believe wasn't ready to say goodbye. We had just come from a rental house where strange occurrences were part of our routine. And while we left that house behind, I began to suspect that we didn't leave alone. Our old landlord had moved back into that property and started renovation shortly after we left. Maybe that stirred something up. Or maybe whatever was there had become attached to our family. The energy, the noise, the love. Maybe it wasn't ready to let that go. The first incident at the new house happened on a night I'll never forget. The kids were with their other parents, and my husband was away for work. I was alone, which was rare, and I intended to enjoy the quiet. I did my usual nighttime routine, turned out the lights, and crawled into bed. I laid on my left side, adjusting my pillow and relaxing into the silence. And then I heard it, a whisper, but not just any whisper. My name, spoken loudly and clearly right behind me. I froze. Every hair on my body stood on end. My breath caught in my throat. I wanted to roll over, to check behind me, but I physically couldn't. It was as if something was holding me still, not with force, but with fear. I stayed that way all night. Didn't move, didn't speak, didn't even cry. I just laid there, eyes wide open until I finally fell asleep from sheer exhaustion. When I woke up the next morning, I hadn't moved an inch. I was still on my left side in the exact position I'd fallen asleep in. That might not sound strange to most people, but I'm a restless sleeper. I always shift during the night, but not that night. I told my husband when he came home. He listened, but didn't say much. I think he didn't want to believe it. Didn't want to give it power by acknowledging it, but it didn't stop. A few nights later, we were snuggled in bed together. It had been a long day, and we were just enjoying the comfort of each other's company. I was almost asleep when I felt his hand rest gently on my hip. I smiled and reached my own hand over to rest on his. Except there was nothing there. I turned over, confused, and saw that he was on the opposite side of the bed, already asleep, both of his hands tucked under the pillow. There was no way he could have touched me, but I know I felt it. I know. Another morning, I was in the bathroom getting ready for work. Just an ordinary day, brushing my teeth, half awake and going through the motions. And then I felt it again. That presence. It was like someone entered the room with me. I didn't see anything, but I felt the weight of it. The air changed. The atmosphere thickened. It was behind me. I didn't need to look to know it. Panic overtook me. I dropped my toothbrush onto the sink and ran out, tears already streaming down my face. I was so shaken, I refused to go back in alone. I stood in the kitchen, brushing my teeth over the sink with trembling hands until my husband walked in and asked what was wrong. I told him everything. He tried to reassure me, said I was just tired, maybe imagining things, but I knew what I felt. Less than a week later, it happened again. Same place, same feeling, like someone had entered the bathroom behind me while I was getting ready. This time, I didn't run, but I didn't finish either. I just stood there, paralyzed until the feeling passed. And then it wasn't just me. One night, my husband saw something that rattled him. He was standing in our bedroom, facing the mirror, when he caught a glimpse of movement in the corner. He turned just in time to see a shadowy figure poke its head out from behind our dresser, then vanish. Another time, he saw a silhouette standing in the doorway between the living room and kitchen, not moving, just watching. Our youngest son had his own encounter. He was in the kitchen one afternoon, grabbing a snack, when he saw a package of cheese slide itself across the counter. No one else was in the room. No breeze, no explanation. He just stood there, staring at it, trying to make sense of what he'd seen. And it didn't stop there. Our neighbor's daughter often helped us by walking the dog after school. She had a key and was familiar with the house. One afternoon, she let herself in and walked to the back room where the dog stayed during the day. She opened the door and immediately said, "Hi," thinking she saw me standing there. But as she stepped further in, she realized the house was silent. She glanced outside. Both of our cars were gone. That's when it hit her. She wasn't supposed to see anyone. She closed the door quickly, grabbed the leash, and left the house without another word. Later, she admitted that she knew the shape she saw wasn't the dog, and it definitely wasn't me. It was something else. After that, we all started to accept that whatever had started in our old rental hadn't stayed behind. Whether it was the spirit of the man who died in that garage, or something older, something darker, we couldn't say. But it had found us, and it wasn't ready to go. And that's where Trisha's story leaves us, on edge, breath held, wondering what we'd do in her shoes. Trisha, from the bottom of my heart, thank you. Not just for reliving something so personal, but for letting us walk beside you through it. Stories like yours remind the rest of us that we're not crazy, not alone, not imagining it. If you felt that too, if you've ever stood frozen in the dark, questioning what you know you felt, this show is for you. You can support Paranormal Nightshift by joining us over on Patreon. It's ad-free, early access, and filled with extras for those of you who can't get enough of the strange. But even if that's not your thing, no pressure. Follow and subscribe on Spotify or YouTube and drop a comment while you're at it. Hearing from you, that's how I know these stories matter. Don't forget to grab your free ebook over at paranormalnightshift.com. The birth of Dimensional Desperado is waiting. Because let's be honest, the paranormal doesn't start or stop with one house. And hey, if you've got a story of your own, something unexplained, let it out. Share it. Your experience could be the reason someone else doesn't feel so alone in the dark. Until next time, keep your energy grounded, your senses sharp, and maybe, just maybe, don't ignore the sound of footsteps in an empty hallway. I'm Andy. You've been listening to Paranormal Night Shift. Stay curious, stay brave, and stay tuned.